He always was. And at Ruthless, we were into Latino music. We put out records with Kid Frost and Mellow Man Ace, and we were doing lots of Latino things with Julio G and Tony G when Easy passed away.
Okay, now tell me about the time when Eazy-E discovered Bone Thugs and Harmony and brought Ruthless back to, platinum status.
Okay, so, obviously Eazy was consumed with a desire to show Dr. Dre that he could do it without Dr. Dre. He called me from Cleveland. He was out on tour. My cousin, Gary Ballin, was his road manager, and Atron Gregory, who also managed a young guy named Tupac Shakur, was our tour manager. And Atron had been with me since he had gone to Berkeley. I hired him right out of Berkeley High School. So Eazy called me and told me about this group that he heard in Cleveland, which is my hometown, by the way.
Okay.
And I'm going back to speak at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on December 20th, which is sort of exciting.
Wow.
But he called me and asked me if I could send him some bus tickets because he didn't want him getting here too soon because he was still on tour. So I sent him the bus tickets. They arrived at the same time. We went in and finished out Creeping on a Come Up and put it out. And, of course, it reestablished Ruthless as the premier rap label of all time.
Now, you're saying that you're from Cleveland. How you feel about, the passing of legendary R&B singer Jarrell Levert?
It's terrible. 40 years old. Of course, I grew up with his dad, Eddie.
Of the OJs.
With the OJs. But I was so sad when I heard that, someone of his stature and his capabilities would pass away at the age of 40. It just was devastating to me. He was a nice guy and a good friend.
Definitely. Condolences again goes out to the Levert family as they go through this rough time. Now, what have you been doing since the Bone Thugs and Harmony days at Ruthless? You're still in the business, or are you basically in the cut, chilling, settled down?
I haven't been at Ruthless since February of 1995, right about the same time that Eazy passed away. So I've been gone since then. I teach college at UCLA. Even though I'm a graduate of USC, I teach college at UCLA. I worked on this book. I'm working on a Latino rap label with Pablito Vasquez, and a guy that I think today, and I know I'm going to spring this on you, Jay Mays, because it wasn't in the book and I haven't told you, so you're hearing it first right here on your show, that Johnny J and I, the legendary producer of all the Tupac material, and I have gone into business together. And we've started two labels, one called Street Life and one called Clockwork, with Pablito Vasquez. And we're going into business right after I finish up the Ruthless movie after the first of the year.
Wow. Can you talk any more about the movie, or is it tight-lipped right now?
No. I can, I can talk to you about it. It's based upon the book. We're going to have unknowns to play the parts of N.W.A. We're talking to people like Bruce Willis to play my part. My co-producer is a gentleman named Robert Katz, who produced The Illusionist. He produced the new Anthony Hopkins movie. He was the executive in charge of production on Crash, of course, which won the Academy Award in 2004. And right now we're interviewing directors, and I think that we're talking to companies like Tom Cruise's new company, United Artists, and we've had offers from Lionsgate and New Line and other major film concerns. So that movie will be out probably in 2008, and Johnny J will be the musical supervisor on that, and part of the proceeds from that will go to establish a fund for some of Eazy's children.
Right, and just recently, I think it was in October or September, VH1 at Hip Hop Honors, and this year they honored Ice Cube and Eazy-E. How did you feel about that?
Well, I don't really give. I mean, I think it's nice that they honored Eazy. I think it would have been nice if they had all of his children there instead of just one of his children. And it's hard for me to visualize doing something like that without me being involved, because Easy and I, we were co-founders of Ruthless and did everything together. So I don't give it much credibility. It's a television show, and I think it's a nice honor, but like I say, it would have been real nice if all of his children would have been there.
Right. And what advice do you have for young kids that want to get into the music business and have longevity?
Okay, so you can't think about just selling records. You have to think about building yourself as an artist, as a performing artist, and you have to achieve plateaus of excellence. Now, the groups that I've been involved with, like Pink Floyd and Elton John and people like that, are as big today as they were 40 years ago when I was involved with them in the beginning. So, obviously, my method of achieving these kind of performance plateaus works. When you just worry about having hit singles, I've always said you live or die by the hit single. Groups like En Vogue are here for a short period of time, and then somebody else comes along and has hit singles. But when you have concepts like Straight Outta Compton, which the LA Times has called the most important album of the second half of the 20th century, obviously that builds a legacy that is something that you really want to be involved with. And I've been very proud of the artists that I've been involved with, but I've never been any prouder than what we built at Ruthless with Eazy-E and N.W.A. and Above the Law and Michelet and the DOC and artists of that stature, Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Now, by you being out on the West Coast, I want to know what were your thoughts about the R&B group Troop, which people consider to be the West Coast version of New Edition?
I like Troop. I was there during their Mamacita period, and one of the girls in J.J. Fad, Sassy C, is married to, I think, Steve from Troop. And I liked him, but, it's not what I do. What I do is gangster rap.
Right.
And, so while those guys were friends of ours, they're from the Inland Empire, which is Rialto, the same place that Above the Law are from, and J.J. Fad. So we all knew each other. They were just, it was just in a parallel universe, and it wasn't something that I was involved in. But I liked them.
Okay. All right. Do you have any shout-outs you want to give?
I want to say hello to Eric's daughter, Erin, and all of his other children. I want to say hello to my partner, Johnny J. And I want to tell you that guys like you, Jay Mace, are the voice of the future in the radio business in America. And as long as people like you, Jay Mace, keep it real, then the music will stay alive.